David Seven, aka Diz, and this is the Force Always.
There it is. It's the Force Always. The last episode coming from my home studio in where I live in Elstonwick. And next week I'll be in a new place. The Force Always is not going. It's always, as it says, and is, and whatever. So let's just get into the Star Wars news, and I'll explain a bit later on about when and why and how the move is happening. But anyway, Star Wars news for this time around. So later on in the show, in the review section, or throughout the sections, but mainly the review section, I'll be giving you a review on two things, that is the Bad Batch animated series for Star Wars, and it's episode 7 called Battle Scars. That's later on the show. That made news this week. Brand new episode 7 on Disney Plus streaming service. And that is later on in the show, the review. Also making news, which is not really Star Wars related, but it is bad versus good. It is under Disney Plus. It is a similar type of genre, but more comic. The new series Loki has come to Disney Plus. It's the third Marvel series to come to the network of Disney Plus, and it's the first episode was called something purpose. My goodness, it was something purpose. It was the opening episode for Loki. He's the sort of the bad guy, but mainly the bad guy in a lot of this Marvel sort of thing. Anyway, I'll give you a review of that later on in the show, so stick around for that one. Making more news, which is still not Star Wars related, but is sort of Star Wars related. The character Han Solo, who was played by Harrison Ford, who helms Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones has started to film the new episode for Indiana Jones. We're going to be getting in the next coming years, or maybe year, depends on what they're going to do. But Harrison Ford, the iconic character in Star Wars, Han Solo, playing Indiana Jones yet again. He's 80 years old. They're starting to film already, and here's some pictures, as you've seen maybe on the internet in this last week. But that is making some Star Wars news because it is connected to Star Wars being an iconic character and being on the Lucasfilm production label via Disney. It's very much connected. Anyway, more news. Now, you're going to love this one or you're going to hate this one. So Kathleen Kennedy, the boss of Lucasfilm of Star Wars at Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, who is famed for bringing some great movies to light. One was E.T., the other was Back to the Futures. Her birthday was in the last week, so everyone deserves a happy birthday. So happy birthday from me to you. That's right, me to you, Kathleen Kennedy, if you're watching. But anyway, that could be a possibility. But anyway, so happy birthday to the boss of Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, whatever you want to say, at Disney. Anyway, so that's a big happy birthday. So that was making news for the Star Wars news this time around. Let's get into the views. Views is my story idea, or ideas that I have within Star Wars. It could be a poster, it could be a song, it could be a trailer, it could be an actual movie itself. But this time around, I just thought I'd give a sort of a sneak preview to what I sort of thought of the two Disney Plus episodes debuting in the last week, without giving too much away in what I ranked them. But pretty much which was the better story. So this is not really my story idea, But the idea is, which was my preferred story out of these two? Well, let me tell you right now. It's a photo finish that's not being sitting on the fence. It actually is. It was just amazing that it came to fruition that way. I did watch both of these pretty much one after the other, about a day or so too late. More like day, but I just been so busy moving. That's partly why I'm in this sort of studio. But yeah, so basically it was a photo finish to the both stories in these particular episodes, not the whole story overall. In these particular episodes, the Bad Batch and Loki photo finish. That is a photo finish this week. On Disney Plus, Loki being episode 1 and the episode 7 for the Bad Batch photo finish. Great stories. Anyway, that's my story idea, which is the idea of the best story out of those two I preferred. And again, it's a photo finish. Anyway, so that's my views in a sort of twisted way. Anyway, let's get into the reviews. Reviews is of this week, as I've been saying, Disney Plus has got Loki. Let's start off with the Star Wars one. Let's give the respect and honor to Star Wars, as this is a Star Wars channel. So the Bad Batch animated series on Disney Plus. It's on its 7th episode. It's called Battle Scars. This episode, I actually said last week, I thought we may be seeing some sort of Jedi, or maybe Ahsoka, which is a Jedi in sort of way, but was way off. I was wrong, which is sort of a pleasant surprise, because it was, and let me tell you, there is spoilers here if you haven't seen it. It was Rex. Rex was the right-hand man, clone man for Anakin, and pretty much one of the heads of the clone troopers back in the old clone trooper days in the Star Wars storyline. So look, straight off the bat, this particular episode was a 9 out of 10. I was absolutely amazed. It was that good, especially after watching Loki, which I also later on, obviously, you know, it's a photo finish, so it's a 9 out of 10. But 9 out of 10. This episode gave great soundtrack, great visuals that sort of connected to sort of things that we understand about Star Wars, but detailed visuals yet again. The music and the visuals in the Bad Batch generally have been amazing. It's not about effects for me, but it's just the set look and the sounds. You know, the sounds, the music that creates what the set and what the story is sort of telling us. It was great. It was absolutely amazing. The way the story traveled from start to finish had a great flow. You kept me captivated. There was a bit of thrill to it. There's a bit of action to it. There was just a great sort of Star Wars feel to it, and it was, you know, the actual soundtrack really connected, I think, in this episode much better than usual. But usually it's good, but this one was a little bit extra good. So basically, I thought it was just a remarkable episode. The reason why it gets 9 out of 10 is I suppose there was just, it just didn't deserve an amazing 10 out of 10. It's very highly recommended. 9 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic. It was so close of getting a 10. It just didn't have that, like, you know, forever feeling of, man, I want to watch this all the time. Sort of like with the feeling that you got when you saw Star Wars, the original, for the first time. So basically, yeah, that's it. So 9 out of 10 for the Bad Batch. Let's get into the other review, which is Loki's episode 1, the debuting episode for episode 1, the season, anything. It's a Marvel series, not Star Wars, but it is bad versus good. It is a 9 out of 10. Marvel, in its 3 series, live action series that they've put on Disney Plus, have been remarkable. I wasn't a big fan of the first 4, I think, or 3 episodes of WandaVision, even though I knew it was a setup, and it does make sense, but I just think it was still a bad feel. But still, the whole series, WandaVision, was great. But let's get into Loki again. what a mature looking, sets, mature storyline, great acting by the character who plays Loki. I don't know his name, but he was really, really well done. The psychological aspect to the storytelling in this particular episode or particular type of story about Loki was what I really seek out, especially in Star Wars, and it was really working well. Look, it gets a 9 out of 10. The area that I find that it missed is that even if you're really clear about Marvel canon, if you were to say, it's a little bit confusing. It's not so clear, especially for a first watcher. You can actually watch the episode without getting lost too much. It's an entertaining sort of piece, and it does get you interested in seeing more. I think the action aspect, the special effects aspect, let's say, the storytelling, the sets, I think it was all perfect. I just don't know what you'd want more or less out of this. I just thought the story was just a little bit, unclear. You've got to sort of understand certain aspects about Loki and why these magic doors were appearing and why there was a timeline and what all that was all about. So it was just a little bit unclear. But even the music in this one, not as good as The Bad Batch, but it was definitely going well. I don't like music that is over too electronic when it's trying to be symphonic. And this one, it was okay. But the sets and the positioning of the camera, the storytelling is just magnificent. I mean, I wish I was a Marvel fan, but I can tell you right now, as much as good as they really produce good, I still am just a hardcore Star Wars fan. I still love it much more. I'm not fighting myself with this. I just believe that Star Wars just has just a great landscape, a great canvas to work with. But let's get back in again once to Loki. Loki, 9 out of 10, episode 1, available now on Disney Plus. Check it out. I highly recommend it. That's my reviews for this time around. Now let's get into the interviews. It's 2Q, which is 2 questions. Well, ask myself for you guys. First question is, which one was actually more exciting out of Loki's episode 1 or The Bad Batch episode 7? Now, this is, I must admit, really close. I thoroughly enjoyed both. But I think Loki had more psychological edge to enjoy for the future. It's got a lot of setup. It's got a lot of, things to work out in a psychological sense in its story, and that is exciting. Just the sets, just the angles, it was a bit more exciting. And that's pretty hard for a Star Wars fan to say, but I did find it by only a notch, or whatever you want to say, just a little bit better in excitement wise than The Bad Batch. And this is only these 2 episodes I'm talking. I'm not talking in the whole entirety here. The Bad Batch has started well, it's drifted a little bit plain, then it's just climbing back again each week. But yeah, the excitement still was for Loki. It was, it was just a shot out of the blocks. It was just a great start. We'll see where it goes next week. I'm sure it's going to continue with some sort of great integrity. But anyway, so my second question, what can The Bad Batch do from now to make it more exciting? I think it should just keep to its great visuals, which really connect to the Star Wars look and feel, and sort of keep on building from one episode to another. I think it would just be great to see it go from, just anticipation for what the next episode can bring. That will really continue the hype for that particular series and really sort of pick up from the loss of where it's sort of been losing a little bit out. I think personally the whole Bad Batch was not really exciting beforehand to see. I was sort of excited, but not that much. Leading in with the trailer, I got really excited. First episode was great. It dulled down a little, and then it's just climbing. The last 3 or 4 episodes has just climbed and climbed and climbed. I think my score has just gone up 1 and 1 and 1 each time. But I still enjoy Star Wars. And I'm really starting to enjoy the Bad Batch. To create more excitement, which was the reason for this question, is just to keep having it continue to be anticipated for the next episode wherever it goes. That's what I think, anyway. So that's my 2Q, which is 2 questions for this time around this week. Now, The Force Always is a weekly show. At the moment, I have been moving from one place to another. I have been in this particular place here for just under 20 years. It's a long time to be in a small place, but for me, I don't mind. Being married now to the famous Shamin, I should say. She's at the moment, rocking some Z's, which is sleep. It's because it's quite late night here. Sort of later on in the evening, so we're moving not too far away, about 10-15 minutes away, to a bigger place. This Star Wars show, The Force Always, will be still going on. I'm wishing next week I will have an episode just after the next Bad Batch episode, just to keep following onto that. I don't think I'll keep reviewing Loki. I might keep you a little bit updated on it. But I just, this is a Star Wars channel. I thought I'd just introduce a bit of Loki into this one, being similar type of genre, good versus bad, under the Disney back panel. But moving is absolutely hell. It's exhausting. I'm seriously tired. It's there's still a bit to go. But yeah, so for me, it's going to be a bit of a sad farewell, which I'm almost about to do to this place, and give the keys back. Anyway, so until next time, you can follow me on the Instagram, which is just down there. Also my Twitter. If you want to YouTube message me, just do that for any questions or comments or whatever you like to do. This is the news, views, reviews, and interviews for Star Wars from the Force Always perspective. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.